on microprocessor and peripheral interface. Today we are going to study the pins and signals of 8086. So 8086, this IC is having total 40 pins. So pin number 1 to 20 and from 21 to 40. These are the total 40 pins available in 8086. So first of all we'll see that in 8086 we are having multiplexed address and data bus. Now what do you mean by multiplexed address and data bus? So multiplexed means the function of address and data bus is combined for the pins. Okay, so AD0 to AD15, these are bidirectional multiplexed address and data bus. Now what will happen if these lines are not multiplexed? So multiplexing reduces the number of pins by combining the signals. But if the multiplexing was not used in 8086, what will happen? We know that total 20 address lines are there and 16 data lines are there. So 20 bit address bus, it is varying from A0 to A19, and along with that 20 bit address bus we are having bus high enable signal. So total will get 21 pins for address bus and bus high enable, while for data bus we are having total 16 bit data bus, that is varying from D0 to D15. Okay, and along with the 5 status signals are used. So if the address and data bus is not multiplexed, then for address bus we require separately 21 pins, and for data and signals will require separate 21 pins. So total pins here, by including only address, data and status pins, is nearly equal to 42 pins. Okay, and due to this what happens, the number of pins required in 8086 will be more, and to avoid this, means to reduce the total required number of pins for 8086, this address and data bus is combined together, that means it is multiplexed together. So here this address and data bus is multiplexed, and by multiplexing it, what happens, that 42 pins that are reduced to very less number of pins, means 42 pins are reduced up to 21 pins only. So the address and data bus, this is AD0 to AD15, it is bidirectional. As we can see in this diagram, it is bidirectional, means the arrow is incoming as well as outgoing, that means it is bidirectional. This AD0 to AD15, these are available from pin number 2 to 16 and pin number 39. So it is low order address bus, and this is multiplexed with the data bus. When these AD lines are used to transmit memory address, the symbol used is A, and if it is used to transmit the data, the symbol used for this is D. Means whenever an address is transferred over these lines, that instead of the symbol AD, here the symbol only A is used, and this AD0 to AD15 is considered as A0 to A15. Similarly, whenever these lines are used to transmit the data, instead of AD the symbol D is used, and these pins are called as either D0 to D7, D8 to D15 or D0 to D50. Means if 8-bit data is has to be transferred, then it is either D0 to D7 pins are used or D8 to D15 pins are used, and for 16-bit data D0 to D15 pins are used. So this is about the multiplexed address and data lines, and these are varying from 2 to 16 and 39. So this is bidirectional address and data bus. Now next is AD16 oblique S3, AD17 oblique S4, AD18 oblique S5 and AD19 oblique S6. So this AD16 to AD19, this is called as a higher order address bus, and this higher order address bus, it is multiplexed with the status signal S3 to S6. So this works as address bus A16 to A19 during T1 clock cycle of every machine cycle, and during T2 onwards the status signals S3 to S6 are used, means the pins are used for status signal during T2 cycle onwards. Here the S3 and S4, these are used to represent the status of currently accessed memory segment, means currently which memory segment is accessed, that information is provided by S3 and S4 status pins, and S5, it is representing us the status of interrupt enable flag. So when this S3 and S4, on both these pins the signal 0 is there, then the segment accessed is the extra segment. When S4 is 0 and S3 is 1, then stack segment is accessed. When S4 is 1, S3 is 0, then code segment is accessed, and when both the pins are 1, means both the pins are high, at that time data segment is used. And this AD16 to AD19, sorry, here it is printing mistake, here it should be A16 to A19 instead of AD16. Okay, so these are the 4 pins which are the higher order address bus. Now next pin, pin number 34, it is bus high enable. This is generally active low, and this active low is represented by this bar on this BHE. So BHE stands for bus high enable, and on this BHE there is a bar, that means this pin is active low pin. It is combined with S7, and this pin, pin number 34, is the output pin. This is used to enable data onto the most significant half of data bus, that means D8 to D15. So whenever 8-bit device is connected to the upper half of the data bus, at that time this bus high enable signal is used, and this bus high enable signal is active low in this case. So it is multiplexed with the status signal S7. Next is min max pin. It is pin number 33. It is also called as minimum and maximum bar pin. This pin is input pin to 8086, and this pin indicates that the processor is working either in a minimum mode or in a maximum mode. So when this, on this pin the high signal is there, means this pin is active high, means on this pin we are getting signal 1, at that time our processor is working in minimum mode of operation. And when the pin is active low, means when the 0 is present on this pin, at that time the processor is acting in the maximum mode of the operation. Next is pin number 32. It is called as read pin. This is also active low. This bar, it is read bar. This bar indicates this is active low. This signal is used for read operation, means whenever the read operation is going on, this pin number 32 is active low, means on this pin 0 signal is present. Next is test bar. So pin number 23 is assigned for this test bar signal. So it is acting as a input pin for 8086. This arrow indicates that it is input pin. It is also active low. This is indicated by this bar over this test. So this test bar input is tested by the wait instruction. This pin is used by 8086 to check whether 8087 is busy or not, means to check the status of 8087. This test bar pin is used by this 8086. So 8086 enters in wait state after execution of wait instruction, and it will resume execution after when this pin is made active low, means once the wait instruction is executed, 8086 will move into the wait state, and to come out from that wait state, the pin number 23, it should be active low, means when this pin becomes active low, processor will come out of the wait state. So this is our pin number 23 test bar pin. Next is ready. Pin number 22 is nothing but the ready pin. So this is the acknowledgement from the slow device or memory that they have completed the data transfer, means to indicate whether the data transfer is completed or not by the memory device or the slow device. The acknowledgement is provided over this pin. This is acting as input pin for 8086 and it is active high. The signal made available by the devices is synchronized by 8284A clock generator to provide ready input to the 8086. If the devices are ready, this ready signal will be 1, and if the devices are not ready, this ready signal will be 0. So it is pin number 22 of 86 processor. Next is reset. This reset pin, it is pin number 21 and it is also input pin for 8086. This reset pin, it causes the processor to immediately terminate its present activity. Means whatever the present activity is going on, that activity is terminated once the signal is present on this reset pin. Means the processor goes into the reset state when the active high signal is present on pin number 21. The signal must be active high for at least 4 clock cycles. Means if for 4 clock cycles on this pin number 21 will get the high or active high signal, then the processor will terminate all its present activities and the processor will be reset. So when the reset occurs, the code segment becomes, or code segment register, or the contents of code segment register becomes FFFFH and instruction pointer becomes 0000H. Next is ground. In 8086 there are two ground pins, pin number 20 and pin number 1. Next is clock pin. Pin number 19 is the clock pin. So the clock input provides the basic timing for the processor operation as well as for the bus control activity. In 8086 the clock signal is provided by the 8284 and it is providing the asymmetric square wave with 33% duty cycle. Here 8284 is the external clock generator used for this 8086. Means for this 8086 the clock signal is acting as a input and it is taken from the 8284 clock generator. It is the external clock generator for the 8086. Next pin is pin number 18. It is also the input pin and this is called as a INTR. INTR is nothing but the interrupt request. So this is a triggered input. This is sampled during the last clock cycles of each instruction to determine the availability of the request. Means if any interrupt request is available or not, that is checked during the last clock cycle of each instruction. If any interrupt request is pending, then the processor enters the interrupt acknowledge cycle. This signal is active high and internally synchronized. So this is pin number 18, INTR. Next is pin number 40. It is the VCC. It is used for the power supply. So 40, pin number 40 is VCC, pin number 20 is ground and pin number 1 is also ground. These are used for power supply connections. Now we will see the minimum and maximum pins for 8086. So 8086 processor can work in two modes of operation. We have seen that pin number 33, it indicates whether the processor is working in minimum mode or in maximum mode. So in minimum mode, this pin number 33 is active high, means signal 1 is observed on this pin number 33. Then the processor is working in minimum mode. So in the minimum mode of operation, the processor do not associate with any coprocessors and cannot be used for multiprocessor systems. Means only 8086 is working in case of minimum mode of operation. In the maximum mode, 8086 can work in multiprocessor or coprocessor configuration. Means during maximum mode, along with 8086, other processors or coprocessors are also working. Minimum or maximum mode operations are decided by this pin number 33, min and max bar. When this pin is high, 80 operates in the minimum mode. Otherwise, when the pin is 0, it will act in the maximum mode. Now we will see the minimum mode signal. So from pin number 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25 and 24, or we can say pin number 24 to 31. These are the minimum mode pins when active high signal is present on this 33 pin. So for minimum mode of operation, this min max is tied to VCC, means this pin is connected to the VCC and will get the processor working in the minimum mode. So 8086 itself generates all the bus control signals. So first pin we are going to study is pin number 27. So this is data transmit / receive bar. So as we can see, this is the output signal from the processor, or it is the output pin of the processor, and it is used to control the direction of data flow through the data transceivers. So this is data transmit or receive pin. So during data transmit, the pin is active high, and for receive, this pin is active low. Next is DEN bar. It is data enable bar. It is also the output pin and it is active low pin. So it is output signal from the processor which is used as output enable for the transceivers. Next is address latch enable. Pin number 25 is active high. It is also the output signal and it is address latch enable. It is used to demultiplex the address and data lines using external latches. Next is pin number 28, M/IO bar, that is memory/input output bar. So used to differentiate memory access and IO access. For memory reference instructions, this pin is active high, and for in and out type of instructions, this is active low. Next is pin number 29, it is write bar. It is also output pin. This is write control signal for 8086. Whenever processor writes data to memory or IO device, this pin, that means pin number 29, is made low. Next is INTA bar, that is interrupt acknowledge. This is output pin and it is active low. When the interrupt request is accepted by the processor, the acknowledgement is provided by this pin or on this pin by making this pin active low. Next is hold, HOLD. So input signal to the processor from the bus masters as a request to grant the control of the bus. For this hold pin is used. Usually it is used by the DMA controller to get the control of the bus. Means to get the control of bus, this hold pin is used, and this hold pin is active high. Means by making this hold pin active high, the DMA controller can request for the system bus. Next is HLDA, that is hold acknowledgement, pin number 30. It is also bidirectional. So this pin is used to acknowledge signal by the processor to the bus master requesting the control of the bus through hold. So with the help of this hold, the DMA controller can ask for the bus access or request for the bus access, and on this pin number 30, the acknowledgement to that bus request is provided by the processor. This is also active high when the processor accepts the request. Means when the request on pin number 31 is accepted by 8086, 8086 makes pin number 30 as active high. So during the maximum mode of operation, the pin number 33 is connected to the ground. That means the pin 33 will be active low, and in this case pin number 24 to 31 are working for other signals. Means here we can observe pin number 26, 27 and 28. Now these are acting as status signals S0 bar, S1 bar and S2 bar. So these are active low and these are acting as a output signals or output pins for 8086. So these status signals are used by 8086 bus controller to generate the bus timing and control signals. These are decoded by represented in this table. Now pin number 24 and 25. So these pin number 24 and 25, these are called as QS0 bar and QS1 bar. These are the Q status pins for 8086 in maximum mode. These are the output pins for 8086. The processor provides the status of Q on these lines. The Q status can be used by external device to track the internal status of the Q in 8086. So the status of Q can be tracked by the external device by observing these two pins. Now the output on this Q status pins can be represented by this table. So if both the pins are 0, at that time the operation of Q is no operation. When QS1 is 0 and QS0 is 1, at that time the first byte of an opcode from the Q. This is the operation of the Q. That means the opcode fetch from the Q. For 1 and 0 means QS1 is 1 and QS0 is 0. At that time Q is empty or Q is cleared. And when both the Q status signals are 1, at that time the subsequent byte from the Q is fetched. So here we have studied about the pinout diagram and the different signals available in the 8086 processor. Thank you for watching the video.